Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, guys. It is Tuesday. It is Tuesday, January 30th, 5:30 a.m. You are popping into the Rise and a Grind, and I am getting everything set up so we can have a great show. We have an incredible show today. My question for you this morning is, who are you? And we are going to dive into that as soon as I get this thing going. Obviously, I got to copy this link. Then I got to go over here. See, I need an assistant for all this stuff. I need somebody to do all this stuff. But I need to go into here, and then I got to go over here, and I got to do all this stuff as we get rolling this morning. You guys are rolling. You guys are joining me. We've already got 30 plus. Now we've got 40. Looks like 40 people already in here for the Rise and Grind. So now that I've got that set, here we go. We are going to kick today off again. It is Tuesday, January 30th, 2017. Welcome to the Rise and Grind. I am your host. My name is Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to six, and the general manager of Dan Cummins, a Chevrolet and Buick in Paris, Kentucky, the second largest used car volume franchise dealership in the country. And I am here with you guys this morning on the Rise and Grind. Good morning. Who do we got in here real quick? We got to say good morning to Mark Littleton, my man. We got to say good morning to David Richardson, Scott Simons, Robbie Toomey, and Patrick Booth. Good morning, Gregory Joseph, R.C. Hazard, Mr. Prince Sinsuit. I saw your picture yesterday in the picture thing. If you haven't put your picture up yet in the Rise and Grind group, we were putting up pictures of smiles yesterday, and I woke up to those smiles, and I can tell you there's nothing more powerful than a smile. Man, we got some pretty people up in this group. Pretty Rise and Grinders. Good morning, Dolly, Eric, and Zach, David, Clayton, Mr. Aaron Jones, and Kobe. Good morning, Tom Sizemore. What's up? Nathan Limbo. You guys are rising and grinding, and you're killing it, and I love it. Hard question. Somebody already put in the notes. Hard question. All right? The title on here, obviously, it said, who are you? And that's what we're going to talk about today as we rise and grind. Who are you? Wake up one of your kids. Yeah, we don't want to do that. All right, check it out, guys. Man, there are a ton of people in here this morning. I love it. Man, the group has been doing good. Continue to invite people to the group. But let's get rolling because we've got a lot today. And I got to go play basketball with my boys over at Dan Cummins. We always play basketball Tuesday mornings at the YMCA in Paris, Kentucky. You guys are always welcome to join us if you are in the neighborhood. So let's get to it. Let's get to it this morning. Who are you? Do you know the answer to that question? I can answer that question. Now, it took me until I was 40 years old, just about, to be able to figure out the answer to that question. And so throughout this talk, I'm going to make sure to use myself as an example so that you guys can kind of connect with what I've got going on here. Now, who are you? I need you to describe this, okay? I need you to know who you are, and I can describe to you who I am. You hear it at the beginning of every one of my shows, Rise and Grind, but I am in order. Here are the 5 things that I am, okay? I am a husband, and I'm a husband first, and I put that first for a reason, okay? I am a husband. My wife came before my children. Now, a lot of people have a little bit of a hard time with that. I mean, I'm a father of 6. You would think I would be a father first, but I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. I'm a husband first. I tell my kids all the time, you don't talk to my wife that way. When my children are disrespectful to my wife, we've got problems, okay? I am a husband first. I am a father second, father to 6. Thirdly, I am the GM. I am a GM of a large volume dealership. I am also a author/writer. I love to write. I always write. I'm passionate about my writing, and I'm working on releasing a book as we speak. I am also, fifth and lastly, I like to be a motivator, an encourager, a speaker. I like doing things like this awesome show, The Rise and Grind. So that's me, husband, father, GM, author, speaker. That's me. Those are my 5 things. Now, how was I able to finally figure out what my 5 things were? Well, there's a saying that says, if you want to know who someone is, if you want to know something about someone, you want to know exactly who they are, then all you have to do is just look at how they spend their time. Okay, now we've talked about this before. Time is our most valuable asset, right? It's the one thing that we cannot get back. It is incredibly valuable. You can't buy more time. We don't know how much time we have left. And so how someone spends their time ultimately can tell you exactly who that person is. Or in today's talk, how you spend your time will tell us exactly who you are. Exactly who you are based on how you spend your time. So here's what that means. If you spend your time, say you spend the majority of your time drinking and partying, well, then this morning I get to tell you that you are a partier and a drunk. If that's how you spend your time. If you spend the majority of your time mindlessly watching programs on Netflix, binge watching 4 or 5 hours a day of programs on Netflix and being lazy, then I just have to tell you this morning that one of your 5 things on your list is that you're lazy. Sorry. Hope I don't hurt your feelings, but we have to look at how we spend our time. It's our most valuable asset. So if you don't necessarily like exactly who you are, or you're still not 100% sure who you are, I'm going to give you 5 things that you can do today to figure out exactly who you are and get your life going in the direction that you want it to go. Okay? So, very first thing is very simple. Very first thing. And this just comes from a simple saying. If you don't know where you want to go, then you're never going to be able to figure out how to get there. Okay? If you don't know where you want to go, you can't figure out how you're going to get there. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to figure out our 5. Now, this might sound difficult. It might sound difficult, okay? Well, how do I just pinpoint the 5 things that I want to be, or how do I pinpoint my 5? Okay? Well, I'm going to give you some tips on that. Okay? First of all, in order to figure out your 5, what you need to do is you need to write down the 5 things that you're spending the most time on right now. When you look through your day, what is your day made of? Write down the 5 things you're spending the most time on. Then I want you to look through that list, and I want you to say, no, don't want this on my list. I don't want to be known as this. You know, I've got, say you've got on your list that you spend a majority of your time betting on football games or playing fantasy football or whatever. Maybe that's on your list. If that's on your list and you don't feel like that's who you want to be described as, that's not who you want to be, then we got to scratch it off the list, okay? We scratch that one off and we replace it with something we do want to be. So figure out your 5. Again, my 5, husband, father, GM, author, speaker. Those are my 5, okay? So you got to figure out your 5, and you got to list them in order. Order is important. Priority is important. I am a husband first. I am a father second. I am the GM at Dan Cummins Chevrolet and Buick third. I am an author fourth. I am a speaker and motivator fifth. In order, prioritize. So when something pops up at work, I know that comes in front of writer speaker. When something pops up with my wife, you must understand that comes before kids, work, author, speaker. Does that make sense? We have to put them in order of priority. We can't just say I want to be these 5 things. You can't just say I want to be a pilot and I want to be a great car salesman and I want to be a great husband and maybe I want to be a great father and I also want to be a great deep sea fisher. We can't just throw them in random order and then do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. No, there's got to be a priorities and you've got to have a set order. You got to have a set order. That way you know what comes first and you know what's most important. And those are your 5. Okay? Nathan says, what if I spend most of my time solving everyone else's problem? Well, then maybe part of your 5 needs to be that you should be a cop. Just saying. Might have to figure that out. Okay, so we figure out our 5. That's step 1. We got to figure out our 5. Okay? Step 2. We spend time exclusively in those 5 areas. Now, a lot of people have a hard time with this word exclusively, and I'm not telling you that I'm not going to tell you that you have to do this. I'm not going to tell you that at all. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you want to really dial in and be the best you that you can be, then you must spend your time exclusively in those 5 areas that matter most to you. If you want to truly become this person, you must spend time exclusively in those areas. That means we only spend our time on that stuff. We don't have time for anything else, not in this season, okay? Now, sometimes that can change down the road, but we have to spend time exclusively in those 5 areas. So, for me, I have to spend time exclusively. I have to make sure that I set aside time out of my day, my life, for my wife, because husband is number 1. I must make sure that I spend time with my children. I have to make that time, because they're number 2 on the list. I have to spend time studying what it means to be a great general manager of a large dealership. So in my off time, in my downtime, I need to be reading books on how to become a better leader. I need to be focusing on, how to get better in service and parts, and how to be a better salesperson, and how to be all of these things, a better leader. I have to spend my time in that area studying that. Then I have to continue. Obviously, you get the trend. I got to spend time writing every single day, and I got to spend time every single day doing things like this, like the Rise and Grind show, and speaking, so that I can get better at my craft. This is what I do, guys. This is what I do. Husband, I'm either husbanding, I'm fathering, I'm GMing, I'm writing, or I'm speaking. That's what you'll find me doing. That is what you'll find me doing. Like this morning, I'm going to go play basketball with my boys. Is that exercise? Is that good? Does that fall in one of those categories? Absolutely. It falls in the category of me being a better leader. It also falls in the category of me being a better father, because I'm keeping my body in shape. And it falls on the same category as me being a better husband, because I'm taking care of my body and I'm healthy for my wife, and I can stay attractive to keep our marriage going. Does that make sense? Spend time exclusively in those 5 areas. Now, step 3, and here we go. We're running behind again. I'm going to have to extend this show or something. Step 3, we have to go back occasionally, about every 30 days or so. You got to check and reevaluate what your 5 things are. Okay, sometimes 5 things, those priorities will change around. Sometimes you got to go into a season where you've got to put work first and foremost. You've got a deadline, or you've got something that you have to achieve, or you've got a bill that needs to be paid. And sometimes you got to look at your family, and you got to look at your wife, and you got to say, honey, right now in this season for the next 30 days, I've got to grind it out. I've got to put in some extra hours. I got to put in the overtime. I got to put in a little bit of focus. And so right now for the next 30 days for this season, I'm sorry, but I got to put them first. Every once in a while, we got to check and reevaluate what our 5 are, if you want to determine who you are and make sure that you're in the right season. Now, you guys still out there? It got quiet in here this morning. Everybody was popping off. All of a sudden, it got quiet. I don't see any likes. I don't see any hearts. I don't see any comments. Hope you guys are just grinding. I hope you guys are just like getting on it, taking notes or something. But I'm just saying, I want to add magistrate to my list of 5. Yes, sir, Scott Wells, and we'll do it. Do that. There you go. Now I'm starting to see some hearts, some likes. Let me know you guys are out there, man. You got a guy up here in the studio talking to himself 5:30 in the morning. I start to think I'm crazy if I don't see y'all. All right, cool. Y'all are there. You was just taking notes. Good, good, good. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is you must, in order to figure out who you are, you must make some sacrifices, okay? You are going to have to make sacrifices. You cannot, you don't have an endless amount of time. Your time is not endless. It doesn't go forever. We have a specific amount of time. You know how they always show, like in a movie or something like that, or when they talk about the gods back in the day, they're always like, okay, in order for us to save the village and save the land or whatever, we have to make a sacrifice. In the Bible, and he talks about there's stories where I believe Abraham, Joseph. I don't remember the name right now. It's too early. But was asked to sacrifice his son. There's always a sacrifice. And I'm here to tell you this morning, if you want to figure out truly who you are and become the person that you see yourself being, the person that you see in your mind, that God puts on your heart, that you're passionate about every single day, if you truly want to become that person, you will have to make sacrifices along the way. You are going to have to sacrifice some of your mindless Netflix binge watching time. You're going to have to sacrifice some of those parties that everybody else is going to. You're going to have to sacrifice sleep. Sometimes you got to stay healthy, don't get me wrong, but you're going to have to make sacrifices because we have to spend our time in these 5 areas. We have to spend our time exclusively in these 5 areas. And sometimes that means we're going to have to give some other stuff up. So be prepared to make a sacrifice. Lastly, fifth and foremost, and then I got to get to the gym so I can play ball with these boys. But fifth and foremost is you've got to chop away. You have to chop away. Here's what I mean by that. My good friend John Maxwell talks about chopping away at a tree. He says if you put a tree in the backyard, what is sleep? Troy says, what is sleep? Sleep, Troy, is something that you get in your truck every day when you get to work early in the morning. I'm just kidding, man. Troy is a grinder, dude. Dude's got 41 cars out. John Maxwell, he says if you've got a tree in the backyard, and you go out to that tree and you swing an axe at it 5 times. You don't have to swing at it 50 times. You don't have to exert yourself and exert all kinds of additional extra pressure or anything like that. It's not a race. So you go outside and you chop at it 5 times, and then you go back inside. And then the next day you go back outside and you pick up your axe and you chop away at that tree 5 times, and you go inside. And the next day you go outside, you pick up the axe, and you chop away at that tree 5 times. And you keep doing this, and you keep doing this, and ultimately, no matter what, no matter the size of the tree, it might take longer, it might take shorter, but at some point, when you chop away at that tree 5 times, you're going to chop down that tree. My lesson for you guys today is if you want to figure out who you are, first and foremost, is you got to figure out what your top 5 is and list them in order. Then you got to begin to read, study, participate exclusively in those areas. Just everything you read, everything you study, everything you participate in, make sure it falls under those 5 categories. Every 30 days or so, you're going to need to reevaluate, make sure it's in the right order, make sure you're in the right season, and you're going to have to make some sacrifices. But ultimately, in the end, whatever it is, whatever that target, whoever it is that you want to be, I just want you to chop away a little bit at every day. Just chop away at it, just a little bit every day. For me, I want to be a great husband. So every day, I just chop away a little bit at it. Try to do something a little bit better. Connect with my wife on a different level. Try to, today I'll probably send her some flowers just because I'm thinking about her. But I continually want to just chop away at being a great husband. I continuously want to chop away at being a great father. It's not going to happen overnight, man. I'm going to make mistakes along the way. We all are. We make mistakes. It's going to happen. But I'm going to chop away at being a good father, man. I'm going to try to pick the kids up when I see them and throw them up on my shoulders. I'm going to try to mentor them and be the best father that I can be. I'm just going to chop away, man, a little bit each day. As far as being a GM at Dan Cummins Chevrolet in Buick, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I still have so much to learn. I've never been the GM of an 850 car a month dealership before. Never have. This is the first time doing it in my life. I'm 40 years old. And so I'm just going to chop away a little bit at it every day. I'm just going to chop away, continue to hit it every single day. And of course, as far as making sacrifices, I will continue to chop away. Just a little bit every day. What can I trim here? What can I trim there? What bad habit do I have that I can get rid of? I know of a couple that pop into my head right now that could save me a little bit more time so that I could spend more time exclusively becoming the me that I know God made me to be. I'm just going to continue to chop away. And I want you guys to just continue to chop away, because once you figure out who you are, once you figure out who God made you to be, once you can get that dialed in, you get it on paper, man, it is crazy how your life will explode. It is crazy how God will continue to place you in environments where you can just expand at who you are. It is truly amazing. Truly amazing. But you got to chop away. Now, listen, guys, I got to thank you so much for tuning in to The Rise and Grind. I hope you'll share this episode with some people out there that are trying to figure out who they are, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are lost. We have a lot of friends and family members that are lost. Sometimes it's us that are lost, and every once in a while we just need somebody to pop up in the morning first thing into our feed, somebody who's positive, somebody that can add some value to our life, to just pop into our feed and give us a little of a nudge and maybe give us a little blueprint on how we can become a better version of ourselves. But before I go, I want you to know that you are truly an amazing human being. You truly are. You are part of a select group of people that actually rise and grind. You are making a difference on this planet and in your own lives daily. Your decision to outright get it done is contagious. It is fuel for all of those around you that also want to leave their mark on this planet. You are special. You are important. You are a rise and grinder. And you have already won today. You have already won because you beat the sun up. You're attacking the day. You're making a difference on this planet. And I absolutely love you for it. Hey, guys, have a great day. Have a phenomenal day. And have a contagious day, okay? Be so over the top today that it's contagious. I want you to the people around you to be like, dang, that's what's up. Y'all feel that? Can you do that? All right, I'm going to go hoop up on these little 20-year-old boys, man. I'm 40, but I can still roll with them, because that's how I do. You guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see ya.